Okay, we're good now.
Alright. On virtual Hydlide. I want to hear myself on the stream. There we go. Alright. Alright. Well, we are good. Hello, welcome everybody. I'm Mechalink. This is Virtual Hydlide. This is a remake of the original Hydlide, done by the same people for the Sega Saturn. In glorious 3D. You will not believe the frames that we save in this game. Even non-speedrunners can save a lot of frames in this game. That's because we don't render a lot of frames in this game. You all donated for all dungeons, which is not my usual category, so, and I've been away from home for like 90% of the last 3 weeks, so this will be fun, but, alright, let me double check that I am on easy, because I like to tinker, high score, don't care, difficulty easy, alright, good deal. I can beat the higher difficulties, but we promised a certain amount of time here. We are not going to do that. We are doing seated, and again, because of time taken. It helps a lot, and I'll explain kind of how this works the way through. I haven't done an all dungeons run officially, possibly not on hardware ever. Yep, exactly. Alright, so time officially starts 21 seconds after this, but we can always retime, so you can just start the timer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Official timer starts when I get control, which is 21 seconds from now. Yeah, this is a Sega Saturn game. Can you believe it? Alright. So 10 seconds deep, we get the load. And then another 10 seconds deep, we get control. Roughly, anyway. And that's it. It's gym time. This is the story of Jim. No official last name, but Jim is the official first name. The hero who is trying to save... the hero who is trying not to run into trees. The hero who is trying not to be confused. And the hero who wonders what the world is up with the map today. Okay, that's what. Alright, I turned a little too sharp. That's why. Okie dokie. Like I said, this is Virtual Hydlide. The game was made in a golf engine, repurposed for Virtual Hydlide. It's a very fascinating story. There's articles about it on the Weber webs that you can look up to get the whole story of how this game went down. But yeah, no, it's... The frame rate is honestly the biggest crime about this game. Otherwise, it's fine. But this frame rate is... It doesn't get any better, folks. This is about as easy as it gets. No real draw distance fog type stuff, but yeah. Anyway, so we have a compass. We are headed towards that lower right hand is compass. The blue is telling me where I'm going. I'm going at a diagonal to keep from having to do too much turning, because turning happens very slowly in this game. You can see the compass change position because we have about reached the graveyard. In. Alright, so this is going to be my first deviation from an any percent run. I'm going to pick up a giant axe. Normally I don't bother picking up an axe, so I don't have to kill anything. But in all dungeons, I have to kill a boss that I don't have to in any percent. So 2 things we need to do here. The first thing is the important quest thing, which is you have to check all the tombstones for a crucifix. And this is said crucifix. Clearing it, we get a level up, so we get a little more power, a little more defense, and a bigger life bar, and 50,000 points. Points are money in this game. Second thing I want to do, I want to get a big club. Oh, it's actually not a club, it's an axe, but you don't know that yet. Alright, great. That's what I wanted to get out of this place. Let's get out of here. Alright. Good deal, good deal. Alright, so like I said, I'm going to need a weapon. We start with a dagger. It's not good enough. Let's not kid ourselves. Alright, so now the compass is going to guide us to the next dungeon. As soon as the 10 seconds passes, so it loads. Alright, good deal. Alright, it's south, but yeah, it's south. We're going south. So yeah, again, this is a remake of the NES original, which was actually had basically no guidance at all. So it was much harder to kind of complete. It was produced before the NES came out, and then it was actually kind of revolutionary. By the time it got on the NES, obviously Legend of Zelda existed, and a little less impressive original Hydlide was by that point. But yeah, it had some sequels on the Genesis, like NPC, and then yeah, it was remade for the Saturn. I'm playing on the Japanese version. There's one good thing for speedrunners about the Japanese version, and then the other thing is that it costs $10 instead of $100. So if you like your Saturn discs cheap, buy Japanese. Also, there's a little bit of a safety that you get in Japanese that you really don't get in the US version, and if we run into it, I'll talk about it. If we don't need it, then great. Right, let me in here. Let me in the door. Alright, so this is the vampire's castle. That's why we need the crucifix. It's going to be a lot easier to hurt the vampire with crucifix. Vampire's castle, we have to touch 5 orbs to proceed. My Windows is touching my orb map. I just made this orb map today because, as I said, this isn't my normal category, but it isn't a bad category. It only adds 2 dungeons, and they're not too hard. Please, the orb was here. The orb was here just a few minutes ago. Man, I'm certain that's where it was. All right, well, going orb hunting, I guess. Over here? It was in one of the first 2 rooms. Yeah, there it is. Okay, good. Orb. Ding. Just mismarked it. Deal. And there are 2 orbs on the first floor on this side. These bats are annoying, but not really dangerous. You can see the second one here. Contact rules are a little difficult in this game sometimes. You will see that repeated. Alright, there's our second orb, and our third orb is at the end of the hallway. Since this is fixed seed, I know where everything is. The game actually functions as a randomizer, complete with the ability to ask for a random seed. So, like, it's 20 maps for each area, and then the items in them are also randomized. So, there's a lot of... The item positions and their contents are also randomized, with the condition of being able to complete the game. So there's actually a lot of ways to do virtual Hydlide. Right, like speedrunners, obviously, we do a lot of fixed seed type stuff. I know where everything is. There is a category on the boards for non-fixed seed if that's more your cup of tea. Some people enjoy the randomizer aspect quite a bit. Oh, that's a paralysis. We just barely escaped. Please don't kill me. I want to live. Paralysis is a rare status effect from the bats. Usually it's not relevant in the castle because the bats aren't that threatening. Usually it's threatening in a later fight. That was it. So here it's just a rare but annoying time loss. Alright, that's 5 orbs. And this I want. This will save me time later. Not a ton of time, but time. We'll explain that when we get to it. Alright. On that note, we continue upstairs. And we need to put on some gear. Oh, we need to put on that crucifix that we got. That's our map. That crucifix. Do that. Do that. Alright. We got a plan. That plan is axe. Good plan. You know that vampires are weak to axe? Well, they're weak to axe when you've got a crucifix on. That's the important. So, this is the reverse of the 2-player text on the golf game. They reused the asset in pack. Axe. Axe. Okay, stay here. Stay here. Don't run. Don't run. Alright. Axe. 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 Just trying to teleport away, but it doesn't work. The axe does enough damage to stun him. So he really can't get away or hurt me. As long as I move up to deal with the fact that I knocked him down. Get another level for beating him. As soon as That stuff happens. Like that. So, more HP, some more attack and defense, and the chest will appear right about here. Oh. Give me a lamp. Lamp. I don't need the weapon on anymore. Definitely need the lamp. Good deal. Alright, let's get out of here. You can see how everything got very bright. Lamps do. Typically in any percent we don't get the lamp, because you don't need the lamp when you got everything mapped. Alright, and a bunch more money. Great deal. Alright. Next thing we gotta do is go to the trial dungeon. This does in fact roughly follow Hydlide from the NES's kind of series of things you can deal with. But yeah, again, remake. This one I didn't bother mapping out because you don't really need to. Yeah, on easy mode, you have maps for everything. Instead, going back to the northwest slightly. This ferry close here. Ferry's close here. I'm gonna go drop off and do the ferry first. So on easy, usually you have to do this later on higher difficulties. On easy, you can do this early, and it's useful to do it early. I'm pretty close to it. I'm just going to do it early and ignore the compass for a little bit. The compass will guide you to this normally at the end of the game, or at the end of the overworld segment of the game. But you can do it early if you know what you're doing. And you can even do it on higher difficulties early if you have mapped everything out, like a speedrunner would. We're looking for 3 fairies to get access to the final dungeon, and we have a charm on us that lets us find that fairy. They're playing a little hot and cold game with a whole bunch of trees that look the same. Our goal is to find the tree that makes the most noise, and it's the one in the upper left-hand corner. And we get the fairy, and we get some levels, and now we go towards where if you touch the wrong tree, a bunch of bees fall down that are well able to kill you at this point in the game. So, yep. Fairy gotten, and off we go to the trial dungeon. The trial dungeon is going to give us the ability to see illusions. It's essentially the well from Legend of Zelda. And it's also going to give us a very important piece of gear. And so we are going to... We are happy to get that piece of gear. It saves us some money, which actually saves us some time. Alright, this is the trial dungeon. You can do this at any point, but it's kind of dark. Not the bees! No, not the bees. Like I said, they are enormously lethal threats. If you trigger the bees, you usually just die. There's like 5 of them, they're flying, and they just put you into the dirt. So... usually the bees are a rip-run type thing if you screw that up. Right, so you can see I have a map here. Great. Let's walk the map. There are going to be enemies around. I'll grab this because it's right here. I don't think I need anything. Yeah, definitely didn't need that. Alright, moving on. Ow. Another chest here? Oh, like I said, I don't usually do this run. There's all dungeons, so this dungeon's a little, Spartan, like, the contents are a little new to me, but like, we have a map. We're not gonna get it. If I do this, I usually do it in the dark anyway. Because you really don't need to see these walls when you got a map. Ow. Ow. Hey, neat. The third thing. Wonder what's in this third thing. Find out. Hey, open it. You can see the problems with opening chests. All of the problems in this game, all of the real sins come from the bad frame rate. Why is it hard to open chests? Because you move huge distances between frames because of the terrible frame rate. Why is it kind of clunky to move around? Because of the terrible frame rate. Like, why is it hard to, hit enemies sometimes? It's because of the terrible frame rate. Really, like, the frame rate is the source of all of Virtual Hydlide's significant sins. Go. There's some kobolds throwing some rocks at me, but this is the end of the trial dungeon. We're gonna get one thing we actually need and one thing we actually don't need. Kind of funny. This is the thing. The shield is the thing we actually need. The Lens of Truth is the quest item that we absolutely do not need. Because we're speedrunners. We already know where the stuff we want is. Alright, and on that note, I gotta run right back out. Not hard. While I'm running, I will again mention that we are, this is for NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness. They have people, they have offices all over the US. I don't have the blurbs memorized because I know the blurbs from RPG Limit Break, but go ahead and hit those exclamation point donate, exclamation point incentive commands. Learn about how you can support NAMI through this marathon. And yeah, we've got some more runs after this, so don't go anywhere and donate if you can. As we would say in any such event, every little bit helps. So all right, we are back through the trial dungeon. Now we go on to the ruins. And the ruins, there's a sign outside that says, you need the Lens of Truth to get in here, basically. Right? It doesn't say it exactly, but that's pretty much what it is. You don't. You just need to have it all memorized. As soon as I get back to the map's going to point me towards where I want to go. Where to do that? Right there. Where do I go? Whoop. Up we go. See if there's anything in the way. There it is. Nope. Just a straight shot to the ruins. Alright, and the door to the ruins is on the north. I know that. I'm just gonna run. Yeah, the next 2 runs are Legend of Mana runs. I'm gonna get bodied in Fairy Percent, and I'm gonna try to put up a decent time. And then we're gonna do a bingo thing, which is Bonus has been working really hard on getting some good bingo cards going, and so that's very exciting. Hopefully I won't get bodied. We'll see. Yeah, it'll be fun nonetheless. Because Legend of Mana is fun. Legend of Mana is coming. I thought it was on the north. Looking for the sign. It's on the south, isn't it? Alright, so, yep. Entrance is right next to the sign. You can put on the lens if you want to, but you don't need it. And we are in the maze. Thankfully, because this is easy, we know what the maze looks like. Higher difficulties. The first higher difficulty takes away things being pre-mapped, but you can map them out yourself and the game auto maps for you. Which is normal. On hard, the auto mapping works, but the compass is disabled, so you have no guidance as to where to go. You have to know where to go. And on Pro, which you only get access to if you can beat hard. Also, all these difficulties obviously have harder ones. Right? And Pro, which you can only get access to if you beat hard, there is no map at all. You try and access the map, it just gives you a failure noise, and there's no map mapping, there is no map anything. So, yeah, Pro mode is definitely a difficult one, especially if you do random seed. You don't know what the map is, ever. The game has some very roguelike tools, like, for example, the ability to map an area with a scroll, or to see where the chests are. That doesn't work in Pro either. Your map is gone. You do not have the ability to ever see it. Even if you were to use a scroll to reveal it, it's not there for you. So yeah, that's, I have actually mapped out a Pro run. I know I can do it now. And I guess since I'm one of the admins on the leaderboards, I could even make it a thing. Alright, so I'm going to equip now, because we got a bunch of stuff. We got the best armor in the game. Why it's in this dungeon, I don't know. We're going to want that to be equipped. We got the shield that we needed, right? So, this is all the gear we're going to need except for a weapon to kill the thing. And honestly, we can do it with the axe if we want. Alright, I'm going to pick out this thing because it's a secret tool that will speed us up later. And then we're getting back out of the ruins. Ow, 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 ow. So one thing about Japanese that is bad compared to the US version is that in Japanese, if you die, you lose all your points, aka your money. That's a problem if you want to buy things, because you don't have any money. In the US version, that's not the case. So that's the advantage the US version gets, is that if you die, it is a more comfortable experience. Japanese version's example, I'll tell you since I've got a little time, because this is where we do shopping, is that when you die, you have like 8 seconds to heal yourself. Like, you can just bring up a potion and heal yourself from death. So, yeah. Yeah, no, the music in this game, I mean, there's not a ton of it, but I'm actually a pretty, pretty reasonable fan, all things considered. Right, the shop is down south, right? That's where we always have to go. Usually have to swing wide, though. That's why I thought that the going north. Anyway, we're headed down to the shop. The shop is only available on easy. It has a pre-made stock. On normal, you can buy anything that you've already gotten once, which makes it much less useful. And on hard and pro, there is no store. So whatever you find is what you got. As I mentioned, the game has a very roguelike system. And that includes, on higher difficulties, unidentified items, often with curses. And scrolls that, like, there's a scroll of identify, and there's a scroll of turn something to an herb. So if you don't know if it's a scroll of identify or a scroll of turn something into an herb, and you activate it and it says, okay, target an item, you could identify the item or turn it into an herb. Right? And they have that for every item type. There's a ring, there's rings that curse, there's, weapons and shields and armors that curse, right? Like, so the game actually has a pretty fun bit of roguelikeness in that, especially at the higher difficulties. On the lower difficulties, a lot of stuff comes somewhat or completely pre-identified. But yeah, on higher difficulties, you can actually get a very interesting experience like that, where you there's actually even a cursed lantern. So you're like, I want to be able to see, and actually, it makes it darker. So they've got the mechanics for some fun. All right, we don't need to buy the shield. What we want to buy here to save us time is, we don't actually need to buy the fire sword. What we want to buy is this. And then we are going to buy these. I'm going to buy these. And alright. Good deal. Alright. Saves me from having to, that saves me from having to get the weapon in the volcano, which will save me a little more time. Alright, speaking of the volcano, that's our next objective. The thing we got in the maze is a fire amulet that will keep us from burning to death in the volcano immediately, which is good, because if you don't, you'll burn to death in the volcano immediately. I recommend doing that. This is where the any percent run picks up at that point. Or like, we do Graveyard because it's an easy level up, and then we skip the first two, and then we go there because you can't not get the fire amulet. So we get the fire amulet. Then you do the volcano. And you do everything, like, you are going to see the rest of the game as we would play it in any percent. We just have 2 more levels, because we did 2 more things, right? So everything's going to be a bit easier. But that, we've taken the time loss for all dungeons. Now it's, any percent but easy. So, yep, as a matter of clarification. But yeah, the castle and the castle and the trial dungeon with the will-o'-wisps, or the 2 extra dungeons for all dungeons. So thank you for donating for that. Now comes the RNG segment of the game. Even though we have everything mapped out, the bosses at this point start to get RNG. And it definitely can determine your times. Alright, here's where the frame rate gets its worst. So if you've been waiting for that, waiting for emotes, or you're ready to celebrate the 1 FPS nature of virtual Hydlide sometimes, this is your dungeon. It pushes itself to the limit here. Alright, these are gold arms and lady arms from the original game, if anybody out there played the original game. This is where it gets a little deviant, in that there was no volcano in the original. I thought I was. Yeah, perfect. Alright, and then we try and flit through this wall a little. The map is here, but it has put 2 segments together with polygons, and the situation is such that if you, like that, exactly like that, and now I'm through that wall and ready to face the boss of the volcano. Like to need to keep on my shield, take off my armor, put on my sword. Lord, I bought you. Where are you? Sword and matters this. All right, move to it. So this is pretty straightforward. The fire shield can block all damage, but they have to move up into me for me to hit them. There's no... Go. We have enough damage to stun them here. That's what's going on. That's why they're not really able to do anything when they go from melee. Stab is faster, but it doesn't hit all of them at once. Oh, jerk! Backed away too early. Get back in here. Get back in here. Get back in here. There we go. And that is the Mad Dragon. Good deal. Not bad. Yeah, Mad Dragon's a lot easier when you can buy a good stabbing weapon. Normally in any percent, you just kind of have to go with the flame sword, which is, it does the job, but you're buying it because you're weaker. Okay, so I'm gonna pick this up. And I'm gonna use one of these fairy drops to get out of here quickly. Alright. That was actually very dangerous for me. I realized I took off the fire amulet, and it was fine, because there wasn't any more lava floor, but I actually was I was dead to any piece of lava floor. Oops. Oh well. No harm, no foul. Alright, so next we go through the longest dungeon in the game, with one of the more annoying bosses in the game. That is the Sealed Caves. Even, Sealed Caves after Final Fantasy VI. Let's see here. So, another fun thing about Virtual Hydlide, right, like, it came out in, Virtual Hydlide came out, right, like, contemporary with games like Tomb Raider, right, which you can't say has any better graphics than this, right? Like, this is mocap plus sprites, whereas Tomb Raider was polygons all the way. But, like, you can't say the graphics themselves aren't at least in the same sphere as Tomb Raider, if not better because of the mocap, right? Like, again, it just all comes down to that frame rate because you put it in the golf engine. Hot tip, golf engines are generally not designed for the highest of frame rates when you are moving the camera. Typically, that's not what you're optimizing for. Like, we live in a world where we have lots and lots of spare processor cycles nowadays, but back in the old days, you actually had to make decisions about that sort of thing. I don't know. I'm a little bit of a proselytizer for this. This game is short. It's fun, right? Like, if the things I'm talking about are interesting to you, it's not that bad. We even do emulators on the SRC boards now, so, like, much like we used to do with Legend of Mana for the same reason, right? Like, not everybody can pick up a Saturn. Not everybody can pick up an old PSX disc or import one from Japan. So, if this game interests you, we'd love to see you on the boards or just out there having fun. All right, so we're ignoring everything on the ground in this place. We really just want to get through it as fast as possible. I have it pre-mapped. There are 4 relevant floors. You also have a really good cutscene in here. It's forced, which, I mean, don't love that, but move a little farther. But it is pretty sweet for a 1999. Here. This way. You'll see me kind of doing the same diagonal running thing I did early, right? Like, same deal, right? Like, turning in the main, like, without the map up, happens slowly. Turning with the map up actually happens at 60 frames a second. So, right, like, if you're really doing lots of turns, right, like, you often do what is referred to as map turns. but you bring up the map and turn when the map is up, because you can do that. If you can avoid turning, right, like you're avoiding slow frames, right? So it's often to your benefit to try to like get through things without turning. So you'll see me kind of like strafing instead of turning around stuff. All right, minecart sequence. You can get in here, get in there, Jim. Yeah, minecart. Look at this minecart. Woo-hoo! Pretty sweet minecart. There's a second minecart sequence in this, which actually has a jump, but you only do that in true 100%, that's not the category we're doing. We're just doing all dungeons. There's a piece of gear that's only accessible behind the jump. Sweet little polygon sequence. All right. Fun note: the signs there say that it can only carry 5 kilograms. That's assumedly that's supposed to make it so like you have to get rid of some of your stuff. But also, like, does Jim not weigh anything? But they actually just didn't end up coding that restriction in at all. So, it's just kind of a little bit of comedic, like, huh? What? But it will confuse you your first time through the game. You'll be like, how am I supposed to get across this? Like, do I have to dump stuff? And the answer is no. In turn too early, this is fine. Right. Great. Here we go. And that's a little fun thing. And there's also like usually a bridge or two on the underworld that are like, on the overworld rather, that are like, this bridge is fragile. Right, and it is fragile, but it's not gonna break under any weight. Mechanics aren't there. And I'm half doing this without looking at my maps. That's what I get for running the game a lot. I do this correctly. I think it's the second one. Yep. Right idea. Just went a little. I didn't stop pressing forward until it was too late. I knew where I wanted to go. All right. Even after having not played for 3 weeks, my virtual Hydlide brain is strong. Grafy strafing. Way up to the wall. Yes! Oh no, we got gassed. Love that. Easy to fix, thankfully. This map makes it so it's easy to fix. And I'm gonna fix it just because I don't really. I want to talk to the water. Thank you. That water's actually gone in higher difficulty. That's funny. Alright. Good deal. Alright, so this is another RNG boss. In that the boss is only vulnerable when he chooses to be. Great, Bob. Not great. Go equip a weapon now. By the way, I want to equip my arm. We got the weapon. Come on, friend. Settle down. Sit right down. Come right in. Sit right down. Let me go and stab you your face. You can see the problem here. Read RNG. Nerd has decided to sit. He moved into my hitbox. He doesn't like staying in your hitbox for unsurprising reasons. Either he wants you to be kind of almost close, or kind of like a full circle away, are kind of the two best positions to be in to induce him to land. But it's a touchy thing. It's very RNG heavy. Move! Jerkbag! Like that. I kept him from actually firing at me. He fires a fairly dangerous barrage that can only be blocked with the dragon shield, so again, dragon shield kind of required. But thankfully we needed it for the mad dragon anyway. Longsword! This is what we want, right? Like, we want him to just keep setting down repeatedly because we're just far enough away to induce it. Right? Like, this is the ideal. Get him to keep sitting down because we're just in the right position for it. Usually it's easier to do it, like, in the comeback arc, but it's a touchy thing. We've definitely gotten it more consistent than it used to be. You know what I mean? Like, we've gotten it much. It used to be very much just a pure RNG fest, but Zophar and I have kind of cracked the code in terms of understanding that this is a good position to be in. Zophar, being Zophar of Zophar's domain, picked us up as a speedrun as well. His first speedrun, actually. And we've been working on the game for the last bit. He is the current world record holder in any percent. And is second in all dungeons to Gyre. And there we go. That's our Mad Mage. And for stabbing him a bunch, we get a loud noise, almost like a fairy. We get the Tears of the Earth, and in fact, we do get the fairy. I'm gonna use these items. They're called like fairy tears. You saw me use one in the volcano. They are the escape item, and that was a long dungeon. I would much prefer to escape. You can also death warp, but as I mentioned before, death warping A is a bunch of heavy load, right? Because like you have to load in and out of existing, and it also costs you all your money in Japanese. Prefer to avoid. Yeah, fairy. Speaking of the next run. All right, so you've done that. So now the next thing is the Lost Castle. I'm gonna take these Tears of the Earth to the Lost Castle, which is not actually on the map. The compass does direct us to it though. That's nice. Somebody is mentioning fairy because that's the Legend of Mana normal run category that we'll all be racing after this. And yeah, this game is also a fairy-heavy game, so we've got a little fairy block going here. We got the fairies of Hydlide into the fairies of Legend of Mana. I don't think that was planned, though. No, I just had some availability to help Elevate to keep the ellThon going. Alright. Should be about at this place, right? Go, that is our tablet. Place it, and then use our earth. Not happening. And we will switch to looking at this big new shiny castle. And we will go through what is legitimately probably one of the easiest teleporter mazes in existence. Because you can see where you're going mostly, but also a pretty cool set piece. And then after we're done with that, we will be on to the final boss rush. There are basically 4 bosses in a row at the end of this game. And that rush is not necessarily a joke, although on all dungeons, it's much easier than I'm used to. I'm used to any percent where I'm a little. This is going to be a fun crushing experience. It's the, mana goddess with the hammer, right? Like in all events, right? Like it's just like, whoa! Problems have been solved. I was involved. It's much easier with the extra defense, the extra attack, and of course the extra health as both safeties and speed. And so, yep, quick, easy teleporter maze, and down into the power core of the castle. Thankfully, I don't actually need to go west because I picked up something earlier. I actually only need to go north and then south. Need a sword of light here, right? Or did I miss it? This is where it's supposed to be. Oh, did we get got? Oh, no. Because I did the extra dungeons, I got the reassignment. Okay, so there's something that that people have noticed but hadn't really quantified, and we still haven't really quantified it. But it appears that sometimes the dungeon layouts change their item placement based on the number of dungeons you have done. And in this case, it appears that, unfortunately for me, the dungeon layouts have changed here, the items, which is a shame because all I really need here is the Sword of Light. And also because there's mimics I didn't buy any safeties for. So this is gonna be a time loss. Thankfully, mimics are dumb. Though I don't think that's mimic. Mimics don't actually move on you even if you stab them. They only move on proximity. This is also pretty laggy lagfest. That's not anything I needed, alright. Herb, I guess. The real 2? Wild. No, that's the thing I didn't need to get here. Oh, there's 3 chests here? All in a row? Man, you are weird today. Alright, how about you? What are you? Another herb. That's not what I need, though. Oh, Crudola. Gyre used to think it was just kind of like a bug, but Zofar and I have identified it at multiple stages of the game. I think it's actually very much intended in a way that I don't understand. That we don't understand yet. But yeah, this is the mimic getting bodied because it didn't wait for me to get close enough. But yeah, mimics are actually, if you try and stab them first, you will usually be. Right, but we are gonna have to explore all of this floor because we really do need to get the Sword of Light. It is such a time improvement and safety improvement that going on without it. So I have to see if we can find it. And this way. I want to get on that brick, but it was too fast for me. Unfortunate. Yeah. And they're fun. Like, you think these are mimics, maybe? The problem with mimics in this game is that they have a pseudo-paralysis effect. Which is survivable, but very not safe. So not only do they damage well, but... ellThon! That's right, this is the Japanese version, but they know it's a skeleton. How about you? Are you good or bad? You're bad. Getting a lot of... And that's another problem with this game, is that the money you get from kills, even late game kills, is basically nothing. Right? Like, I'm getting 1,000 gold from each of these kills. Like, even if I could get back to the shop at this point, which I can't. That's... How about you? What are you? Are you my angel or my devil? Oh, you're safe. Okay, what are you? Well, that skeleton's not safe. What are you? Okay, you're not gold. I like that. Look at this lag here. Ooh, baby. Sword. No, it's the gem. Alright. So, minor thing. There are 3 gems, which make the last boss weaker if you pick them up, scattered throughout 3 of the dungeons in the game. We don't get them because it's not worth it. That's gold. Definitely not what we want. Gold are points, or gold are points. I didn't buy Scrolls of Detect because I didn't expect to have to do this. Otherwise, I absolutely would have. You look incredibly suspicious. I'm going to try and stab you. Are you on the other side of the wall? You are your mimic, because I'm pretty sure I already cleared that. Yep! Hey, mimic. How you doing? Let's move on. Alright. Map me, please. Zoom out on the map, please. Yeah, we checked all of that. Yeah. Well, I guess we didn't go all the way back here. Let's go all the way back here and then check in the quadrant. Alright. Nothing doing. Good deal. So yeah, we have to remap things sometimes because they change positions even though they really shouldn't, based on your progress, the number of your level. I think it's not actually your level, it's something else, but it's very close to related to. One day we will figure that out. Need to check southern. No, I need to check the eastern segment. Wham wham wham. Kitty wham wham wazzle. Give me this western segment to explore. Right? Are you a mimic or are you a friend? Are you a friend or am I food? Okay, it's not gold. It's an herb. That ain't it. Legendary Sword of Herb is not what we're looking for here. Hey, buddy. Stay away from me. This one is so windy long. Really need you. Show up, sort of like. Continue onward with the game. You'll understand why I want Sword of Light once we actually get it. You might think, oh, it's just a sword upgrade, right? No, it's not just a sword upgrade. Haha. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Rude. Bar skeletons, you're rude. I like you. Skeletons. Checked you. I checked here. There was no chest here before, right? This is yeah, of course. Alright. I respect your game, Mimic, but I also rue and lament it. Nothing there. That's another Mimic. Been here before. This is also pretty laggy. Come on, sword. Are you a mimic or a sword? You could be a sword. Sword me! Sword me! I like where this is going. There's only so many chests on this floor. It's gotta be a sword at some point. Yes! It's the Sword of Light. Alright. We're in go mode. And we do have one of these equipped, right? We do. Alright, great. Alright, let's get out of here. Thankfully, the elevator can't move. The items can move around, but I know exactly what to do. Out of here. Let's get on to that final boss. We want to go south. Yep. Thank you. Bye. Man, that's a lot of mimics. That's what I thought. Around this stupid corner with all these mimics. South. Around it. Keep going around down to the south. Right? And then back in the north. And this tile. There we go. Woo. Like I said, there's not a ton of songs on the OST, but they did work, you know? Jim Hydlide, Jim the Knight. On his way. Beat a bunch of bosses in a row. The elevator's the east, right? Thing. Get on that thing. Want to get on that thing. Get on this thing. There we go. That works. You can kind of corner walk that if you're lucky. Doesn't always work, but it did this time. I mean, out. Skeleton's away. I'm trying not to attack anything because I want to save showing you what the Sword of Light does until it actually matters. Because Sword of Light is more than just a damage upgrade. It is an damage upgrade. It is the best sword in the game. The best weapon in the game, no questions. Like, on pure numbers. But it also has another secret feature. That secret feature is very good. Yeah, don't want to do that, bonus. That's right. I got projectiles. I got more than projectiles. I got 3 projectiles. Each of them doing the sword's damage. So it's not just like, oh, it's a little, you know, it's a bit more damage. No, it's just something like 3.5 the damage you were doing before. Right. Like, this is not a minor update. The reason it's 3 instead of 1 is because of that Stone of Fighter that I equipped. That little amulet-looking thing. We're going to take Death here to show off the, to show off the fact that I can full heal myself out. I mean, you need to full heal. Come back. Alright. Yeah, that's... In Japanese, you can do that. You saw me miss menu and still get it off easy. And, in English, that is, not something you can easily do. It might be possible, but it is nowhere near as reasonable. Alright. Sorry about that taking so long to get out of here. Because the chest changed places, but this should be a pretty straightforward set. This was the first boss of the 4-boss rush. We're just gonna burn down the other 3 pretty much the exact same way. So we've got the vampire again, but he summons a bunch of bats. So watch out for that paralysis, and if we get through that, we're good. Then we're gonna fight the mad mage again, and he's gonna have a couple skeleton ads who can also paralyze you. You know, watch that and be good. And then we'll have the final boss of Viralis. Who is another teleporting boss. This game really likes teleporting bosses. Let's put this guy in the dirt. See, the big thing about the bats is not only can they paralyze you, but they steal your targeting. There is no lock on. Not a virtual highlight. Alright. Last time, we didn't watch it, but, like, the bat flew off. Right, like, and... this time, he just kind of dies before. Okay. There's a couple safeties here. We don't need them. I didn't spend any real healing. You can't access them unless you have the Lens of Truth, so we don't usually have access to them in any % anyway. Okay, so quickly burn down the skeletons. And then we... want him to set down, but we want to do so at range, so our balls of light actually do damage, so we can't do what we did earlier. Right? Just like want him, right, like, want him to set down at range and get multiple hits in. Right? Yeah. Go! I hate it when he does that. Guys, what he really wants to do is hang in the air forever. Be like that, like wonk, just like huge chunk of health down because all 3 hit, and one of them crit from that one. But yeah, you can get the Evil Mage down in a few salvos here. Much better than like the 10 or 11 stabs you have to do. Alright, Evil Mage. One more. Head on down. Let me throw the holy lights at you. Oh! So close. Come on, friend. Sit down. Sit down. You know you won't. Friend. Friend, please. Let's sit down. Sit down. Alright. Alright, Evil Mage down. Now powerless. This is deathless. I mean, it's all dungeons that should be deathless. But alright, last boss. This should not take too long. Alright, this is Verilus. He is a big demon. He split the princess up into 3 fairies. We take him out, the princess will like us and be rendered in glorious Sega Saturn FMV. Oh, we got... Where are you, nerd? There you are. I see you. Next shot, you're dead. Where are you? There you are. You in the distance. And... Oh, come on! Time. There we go. Just under 55. Just over 55. Dang. Alright. That is... oh, it'd be just under 55 if I remove the 21 seconds from the start, so... Still. This is the ending sequence where they spent all their FMV budget, because this princess is gloriously rendered, and I'm not being sarcastic at all. Like, this is probably like half the CD. Alright. And that is Virtual Hydlide, Sega Saturn. Next, we've got a, I hope you enjoyed, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's an experience, it's a meme, right, like, but it's actually not all that bad a game. The frame rate's just unjustifiable, not good. But the game itself is fine, and, you know, it's a randomizer, so there's a lot of ways to play it, if you're into that sort of thing. Alright. Absolutely. Yeah, it emulates well now. Sega Saturn emulators are up to the task. So, absolutely. I'm sure we can get that set up. And yeah, the Japanese discs are cheap, but Sega Saturns aren't necessarily. Secret swap! Alright, Elevator's starting a 12-hour challenge of Virtual Hydlider right now. Alright, anyway. We promised you some Legend of Mana Fairy percent, and that's what's coming up next. I will see you shortly, along with some friends.